Hi everyone, Joe March here, also known as Sorcerer, and today we're going to be talking about two things. The first being my recent experimentation with some short-form content, and the second being a longer explanation of my last video on everything happening for a reason. If you're just here for the discussion on everything happening for a reason, skip to that time code in the video and you'll be able to see that. Otherwise, stick with me and we'll talk about the short-form content stuff. So my channel is small. You can see right here, I have it pulled up and I have 1.01 thousand subscribers. That is not big by any stretch of the imagination. I have 236 videos, so I'm obviously not a rapidly growing channel. I have my niche and I like to stick within that niche, and I have my viewers and I like to talk to those viewers. We are all good there. And some people may think, if you're not familiar with YouTube, that if you have 1.01k subscribers, you probably get 1,000 views per video. That's not how it happens. Back when my old channel existed, where it was popping off and I had 20,000 subscribers, I used to see about 10% of the subscriber count as views on an average video. Now, I'd have other videos that would do phenomenally and some that would bomb, but the average video would hit about 10% whatever my subscriber count was. When you looked at the analytics back then, what you would see is about half of those views were from subscribers and half were outside people. So really, when it gets down to how many of your subscribers actually watch all your videos, it's usually about 5%, and that has stayed true here as well. So you will see that on average, I will have about 50 views on a video, and because right now I don't really leave containment that much, they're usually all subscribers watching it, so it's about 5% of my subscribers. Same as always. You can see some numbers here. We've got like 32 views, 47, 53, etc. So you look down the further we go, here's a pretty solid look. 54, 54, 69, 98, this one was a little bigger, 84, 85. This is pretty normal for me. But last month, I suddenly started getting 32, 38, 23. And I was like, what is happening here, right? I mean, I don't really care that much, but it's like, is it because it's the summer, less people are watching it? Is it because these videos, like this one's an Akinator video, maybe nobody wanted to see that. This one is a real obscure-ass video, and my song videos always do more poorly. But I got 3 videos in a row that are like, they're like 2% maybe instead of 5%. And I'm like, okay, that's not necessarily good. And around this time, I also heard someone say, recently YouTube has been pushing short form content harder than normal content. And if you have shorter videos, they get pushed harder. Now I know they're talking about shorts, right? And we'll get to shorts in a minute. But this person actually said, it's also true with their regular videos, that if it's shorter, it gets pushed harder. So I said, hey, why don't I test it? We'll see what happens. So I made one as a joke to just say, hey, can I even say anything that I say in a short video? And it jumped up to 53 views like my old videos, right? And I was like, well, that's kind of neat. We'll talk about how the short did later because we had shorts also. I said, that's neat. And I can't tell based on how it's been recently if that's just my video did as well as normal or if that's like actually it is getting pushed harder. So I did another one like what I normally do on Is Channeling Valuable, and it got 47, which is about in the same range. So I was like, I don't think it's actually pushing a shorter video harder than a regular video. Although we'll get back to the shorts because there's something to see there. So to test it one last time, I did a short last week as my video, and I did a short here the same way, and it got 32. So it's down here with these. So it's kind of proved to me definitively, at least when you're a small channel like 1,000 views, doing a shorter video doesn't matter. But here's what's interesting. If we look at how well these did as shorts, I got 169 views on that first one. I got 57 on a random one I created just to see if I took an old video and made a short out of it, if it would work. And I got 375 on the latest short. So while my experiment proves, at least to me, that they're not pushing these shorter form videos any harder, they're pushing shorts, man. Shorts are flying off. I was like, man, that's a large number for me, 375. I mean, when I get up above, like 116 is a good video in my opinion. 219 is a good video. My Gnosticism video did 568 views. So some of my videos will pop off, you know, but like, good God, man, to just throw out a short that's just a hot take and have 375 views, I was like, okay, I see why everybody's moving to this format. However, you're just seeing views here. If we look at like count, I think this video got like 3 or 4 likes. Whereas when we look at the exact same video,
Joe March here, also known as Sorcerer.
It's got 5 likes from my channel. So more people will like the video on my channel than will like the short. And even though the short is being seen by more people. So it doesn't make likes happen, I'll tell you that. Anyway, none of that is really important because I don't chase after views or likes or any of that. Anyway, I was just really curious about it and thought, hey, I've got the platform, I could give this a test. And that's why I had these short form videos. Don't expect to see more of those from me going forward. I don't really enjoy it because I feel like you can't explain a lot in a short form video. It feels like it ends up being a hot take and nothing more. So because of that, I want to go through this most recent one to see this short hot take. And then I'm going to further explain it, and you'll see the difference between hearing a 1-minute video from me and actually us getting into a topic, because I feel like there's a huge difference there. And I know among my group, when I look at my trends with all these videos, see how this 15 has 38? A lot of my ones that do really well are longer. 34 minutes, 568. 20 minutes, 219. My longer videos, even this, 30 minutes, 72. My longer videos do better with this group, with my viewers. So we're going to do a longer video, and we're going to expand upon this question I had here. The reason everything happens for a reason, etc. Now before I do that, what else is going on this channel? One thing, I don't think I'm going to be doing as much content like this video or this video where I am reacting to stuff. I'm kind of getting tired of reacting to stuff. I feel like I tapped that well for all the videos that I wanted to react to, and now I'm out of content for that. Now anytime I go looking for it, I feel like I'm just trying to punch down. I'm trying to find people to make fun of instead of finding actual information to talk about, and I don't like that shit. So I'm probably going to go back to just doing some videos less frequently where I talk to you guys directly like this, where we go over different topics, etc., because that's fun. But I just really don't feel like the reaction stuff is working anymore, at least for me. I'm having trouble with it. It's taking me longer and longer to find content, to actually react to it in a way that's funny, etc. That's like, this is not quick and easy. Even though it looks like it, you would think react content would be easy. It's actually easier for me to sit here and talk to you guys about, you know, esoteric concepts and the like. So if we look at the playlists, Sorcerer's Hangout has 41 videos now. That's almost a year's worth of content on its own. I was making Psycho Sorcerer 2.0 videos at the same time, so it's basically been about a year since I started doing this react content, and I'm kind of done with that for now. What are we doing instead? I don't know. Maybe we're just going to do esoteric videos and more rarely. Maybe I'm going to come up with something fun to do. If you guys have ideas for things you want to see me talk about, please leave it in the comments. Because I'm really just like, you know, I'm living my life. I like keeping up with you guys and talking to you guys. I just don't have as much to say as I used to. That said, today we're going to talk about this everything happens for a reason stuff, and we'll start by watching the old video first. So if you followed the timestamp that I put over there a minute ago, instead of watching any of the rest, what we're doing now is we're going to watch my most recent shorts video, and then we're going to discuss it in actual length. I started this video off by saying old wizard hot take because I wanted people to know, like, this is literally like my old ass giving a hot take, but I do have more to say about it. Hi everyone, Joe March here, also known as Psycho Sorcerer, and today we're talking about the idea that everything happens for a reason. Yeah, right? Does it? So that's really the question that I've asked. Does it happen for a reason? What do we mean by reason? How do we define that? Like, this question seems like it would be simple, but anybody who hears that will immediately have a certain way to understand this sentence. Some people will say everything happens for a reason, like if somebody breaks their arm, they'll be like, everything happens for a reason. That's a throwaway fucking line. Like, you don't know if there was a reason, what that reason was. You're just trying to be positive to be positive. You're like, well, you know, it's probably for the best. Like, you don't know shit. Get the fuck out of here. And then other people say everything happens for a reason because they're saying, like, cause and effect. Like, one thing leads to another. And that's true. So it can be a very loaded sentence, depending on how you're using it. And so that's why I wanted to address in this video 2 ways to look at it and kind of play with them. Right? Technically, you could think that everything happens for a reason, and in the immortal words of Hoobastank, yeah, and for some reason, I thought this was a funny thing to do. I remember, like, watching it back after I did it and being like, this is cringe as shit, but then also being like, you know, this seems like something that would be on a short. And you'll also notice that I put it here and I put it here, and that's so that I could cut this out and just leave it as a short. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of cringe, but it gets the point across, and maybe it's more memorable because of that. The reason is you, right? By that I mean that things happen and then we give reason to them. In other words, we give meaning to things. So if you see different events occur and then from that you're able to draw meaning, or you're able to see a clear pattern of how to direct yourself in a better behavior, then you give good meaning and good reason to things that happen. And if you see something that happens and you use it to be fearful and pull away, then you give bad reason to things that happen. But now, I don't love this use of good and bad, but I literally, as a channel of my size, can only make a short that's 1 minute long. I can't make a 2-minute short or anything else. So I gotta use terms like good and bad instead of getting into it. So when I say that the way you interpret something could be a good reason or a bad reason, I don't mean like there's a good way to come up with reason and a bad way to come up with reason. I mean you assign the reason as being good or bad. Like you might look at something and be like, oh, this is bad. This happened and it's bad. Or you might look at something and be like, this is good. This happened and it ended up good. But you're the one assigning the good and bad. That's what I'm trying to say in this part. The reason is actually coming from you. You're the one creating that. And understanding that and embracing that it's you doing it allows you to look inward and figure out what you are doing and change your behaviors if you don't like the way things are going. Whereas if you just think some other force is causing it all, then you throw your hands in the air and allow your brain patterns to keep behaving the way they always have. I'm in favor of the former rather than the latter. How about you? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, safe travels. Right. Pretty straightforward stuff. I think everybody can see what I'm talking about, but I also feel like it leaves it almost as if I'm saying like there's logic and reason and that's it. And that's not what I'm saying either. Because I'm actually a person who does believe in stuff like potentially lining shit up ahead of time in the afterlife and shit. Like, I'm not talking about whether that's right or wrong here, but, like, I'm not discounting that either. The idea that somebody comes here and there is something that they're meant to experience or someone they're meant to meet or whatever. I'm not saying there's no destiny is what I'm trying to say. Similarly, I'm not saying that if you're born into a certain circumstance, that's not going to cause certain things to happen that you have to go through because you don't have any choice about the matter. I believe that as well. There's a lot of things that kind of are just laid out for you that have to happen in a certain way. But the reason for them happening, the reason that you draw from them, the meaning that you take from them and how you let that change you and the course you take from those experiences is up to you. And I think a lot of people that just say everything happens for a reason, they don't actually sit down and make the decision of how am I going to think about this? What does this mean to me? How am I going to take this to shape my life positively, negatively, etc.? Is this going to be something that makes me push away from something or pull towards something? Not that one of those is bad and good, but that one of them is to decide to make a change away from a pattern, and another one is a decision to move toward a pattern. These decisions are very important in coming up with who we want to be as people, who we are, and it also gets reinforced. Like, as you experience more things and you see that happen, you can see if your decisions actually aligned with what you chose. You might be like, I don't want to see myself as the type of person who's not brave, so I'm going to act a certain way, but then in the next situation, you're still a little bitch. That's fine. That's good, because then you can reflect on that and go, wait a minute, did I change? And then again, do I want to change more? Is this something that's acceptable? Is this something I want to do, etc.? You can really like mold yourself and change yourself, or even just maintain a sense of self by accepting that the reasoning you give to things is your own. And that's mostly what I'm saying here. And I've met a lot of people, especially in the New Age community, who just say, like, everything happens for a reason, but they mean it, like, as a brush off. Like, oh, there's a synchronicity that happens, well, then this must be fated and I'm going to go with it. Instead of actually looking at the stuff ahead or following your own intuition, you're just like, okay, I needed X to happen. Y person showed up and had X and said, I'll give it to you. So it must have been that I created it. It must have been for a reason. The reason is that everything came together perfectly. It's like, well, you should probably vet that out first. Like, maybe that happened for a reason, but more likely you are now put yourself in the headspace of looking for something, you found it, and then you glued on to the first one. You should still look around. You should still use your common sense, you know? I feel like I'm being an asshole, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. We all know that person where they make decisions because the decision just gets made for them. And that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people say everything happens for a reason. So someone presents them an opportunity, they just grab it. And they can end up in really bad relationships and shit because they'll be like, oh, I thought, hey, I really want a new boyfriend. So I met the first guy that I met and he said he's looking for a new girlfriend. It must be fate. It's like, it's not fate. you guys are looking for the same thing, maybe it'll be a good relationship, but you got to treat it like everything else. You got to test it. You know, like, I don't know. I know too many people like this is what I'm saying. And if you're one of them, I'm sorry. I don't mean to beat up your ass about this shit. I mean, that sounds even worse. Now I'm just pissing people off more because I just put that image in your head. Anyway, this might be the real reason I only have 1,000 subscribers and that I don't move on, because I've become crass and I just give my old ass opinion, and that's kind of my channel when it's a good day. So I get it. And again, I don't really want to do YouTube for a living. I've seen how hard that is. So I'm fine with that. But I do like talking to you guys. I wish I had more content to bring to you guys other than just these one-offs. But I'm in the point in my spiritual experiences where everything I'm doing is either very personal, and therefore it just stays in my journal, or it's just not vetted out to a strong enough point for me to give information to someone else that's useful. Or there's just nothing new happening, because a lot of my experiences now are about self-change, self-development, etc., which is like nobody's business. You know what I mean? That's my own shit. And so I don't have new tips because I'm living off the tips that I gave already. They're already there. You guys already have all of it. So, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I don't even have to make videos. I could just stop making videos for a while. You know, leave the channel up. It's always there and available. But, like, I could stop making videos for a while and it wouldn't make a difference. Making videos is more of my time. But then I like the interaction that I have with those of you who do watch regularly. So I just want to keep a connection, sort of. So if you guys have any ideas for something else that we can do in the style of keeping up with each other in some way, let me know in the comments, because I'm definitely interested in that, just because I like keeping the community going. Even if it's small. In fact, even more so because it's small, because it feels like a group of friends. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant on about these two topics and just seeing behind the curtain of what's going on over here. And until next time, safe travels.